It is done. Hugo Ekitike to Liverpool has been given the here we go treatment by Fabrizio Romano. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to center around the big breaking news that came today from Fabrizio Romano, the man himself, the man in the know about the Hugo Ekitike saga. It seems to be done, dusted, and pretty much on the verge of total and utter completion, as he has given it the here we go treatment over a move to Liverpool. A massive, big money move for Liverpool in the making. They finally have their striker that they've been chasing and keeping on their radar for a while. It may not exactly be Alexander Isak, but it is, in my opinion, a very good alternative in the French striker, as we will go on to explain later on in this video. We're talking all things Ekitike and Liverpool here, so without further ado, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and very be greatly appreciated. And of course, I encourage you all to get involved in the comment section down below. Use and abuse that section, people. Talk to me on this transfer story. I want to hear your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it on this. That will make for great and interesting reading, I'm sure. And without further ado, we're going to get on with the conversation ourselves. We're talking Ekitike, we're talking Liverpool, and the big money move that has just played out before our very eyes in this transfer window. So, as we all know, the story goes that Ekitike has been attracting a lot of interest from various clubs this summer. There's been a lot of interest. It seemed likely that he would be leaving Frankfurt this summer at some point. The question was, to who? Like I say, been attracting a lot of interest. A lot of clubs seemingly intrigued at the prospect of the 23-year-old blossoming into a fantastic and prolific goal-scoring striker. And it seemed for a while that, there was likes of Man United interested, Chelsea were interested, Newcastle, Arsenal, and this week especially with Newcastle, of course, with the whole Alexander Isak situation seemingly being tied into this saga and situation. But it seemed like Liverpool moved quickly. They shifted targets. They turned their attention fully on Ekitike as the week has progressed. And they have finally got their man. Romano took to social media this morning to post the following. Breaking: Hugo Ekitike to Liverpool. Here we go. Deal is in place for over 90 million euros for the French striker to join from Eintracht Frankfurt, potentially reaching 95 million euros. 6-year deal for Ekitike, valid until June 2031. He only wanted Liverpool move. New striker for slot. And we knew about this. We knew about, obviously, earlier on this week, personal terms were agreed. We knew that, obviously, Liverpool had shifted targets and tried to move very quickly on this Ekitike situation. So it seemed only a matter of time before this deal was going to be done, dusted, and, like I say, given the here we go treatment from Fabrizio Romano. It's an interesting one. It's an intriguing one. As I've said all of summer long with Ekitike, he's a striker that does intrigue me. I can't say I watch too much Bundesliga these days, and I can't say that I watch Frankfurt specifically. But on the odd game or 2 or 3 or 4 that I've managed to catch of Frankfurt over the course of the past season or so, I've got to say, he is a striker that does sort of intrigue me. Now, he's not plan A. He's not Alexander Isak. Let's just get that out there first and foremost. He is a rougher version of him. Still rough around the edges, still a little green, shall we say. Not as finely tuned or as finely polished as what an Alexander Isak would be. But there are similar qualities and attributes that go into Ekitike's game that you can draw parallels with an Alexander Isak. His technical ability is very, very good. His mobility and movement is also very, very strong and very exciting to watch at times. And obviously when you put in the prospect of him playing with a Salah, playing with a Florian Wirtz, playing with whoever's going to be on that left-hand side, the movement, the versatility, the kind of hope that it just clicks with all of them and they have this understanding between them all. and, you know, like I say, the interchanging of positions and all of that kind of stuff could make for a very exciting prospect of a forward line that Liverpool could have within their ranks, if, of course, Ekitike does hit the ground running. And then you've got to consider his speed, his pace. All of those kind of things are an upgrade on what Liverpool currently have in that position in Darwin Núñez. With all due respect to Darwin Núñez, as I've always said, his overall game has certainly improved since arriving at Liverpool, with the exception of his concentration and composure in front of goal, as I've always said. But Ekitike is an upgrade on all improvements that Darwin Núñez has made, with all due respect. So he comes in, it only makes sense that we upgrade in that position, we reinforce that position, and Ekitike is a good reinforcement choice. There are some question marks over his goal scoring ability. There are some question marks there that, you know, have Liverpool somewhat overpaid for a striker who, you know, maybe looking at it, probably his goals and assist contributions don't necessarily justify his price tag. You could maybe argue that. I would argue against it, though, in terms of, A, he is 23 years of age. There is still plenty of time for him to finely tune that side of his game to being a more potent and more prolific goal scorer in front of goal. I could also argue that playing alongside better players, with all due respect to Frankfurt, may actually improve that side of his game as well. And not only that, but when you consider that, he's not going to have the pressure to hit a 25 to 30 goal a season right off the bat. Like, people will probably say his price tag probably should demand that kind of figure. I look at it and go, well, the price tag, as high as it is, and we'll get onto the price tag a little later, as high as what the price tag is, he's obviously got a lot to fall back on as a safety net. Mo Salah, obviously, still getting goals and assists for fun in the Premier League. So he's got that to fall back on. Florian Wirtz is obviously going to chip in with a few goals and many assists, I'm sure, throughout his Liverpool career. So he's got that to fall back on, as he has proven in the Bundesliga and across Europe for the past couple of years at least. And then he's got Gakpo, who can chip in with goals. If, obviously, Liverpool do go ahead and sign Rodrigo, which obviously is being rumoured to being the next big move for Liverpool, because there is a lot of links, a lot of reports suggesting that that could be the case, that will obviously be someone to fall back on as well. Ekitike is not going to have this insane amount of pressure thrust on his shoulders that he is carrying the vast majority of the goal-scoring output of this Liverpool team. As long as he works well within the system, and as long as he is chipping in every so often with goals, I would be happy with the goals being spread across the entirety of the team, rather than we just have one player that is getting the vast majority of them. And I think that that could really work for us in terms of obviously having different plans for different oppositions, obviously, you know, having different players for different situations and scenarios and things of that nature. And Ekitike would just fit into that. We've had to pay a lot of money, but it's not necessarily for the player that he is today. It's for the player that he could become in a few years' time. Remember, this is a 6-year deal. So we obviously see 90 million euros and pushing on to 95 million euros in total as a 6-year worth investment that is worth investing in. Not just for the here and now where we can contribute, but for the later on down the line where he could turn into a prolific striker. He could turn into one of the best strikers. He could turn into a Bobby Firmino type figure in which he just neatly links up the play from our wingers, for example. It really could work out that way. And I'm very much intrigued by how this all ties together, by how Ekitike does. Does he hit the ground running? Does he need a bit of time to adjust? Is he going to be okay adapting to the physical and intense demand that the Premier League offers? There are a fair few questions and question marks over the signing of Hugo Ekitike, but it is one that I'm very much intrigued and somewhat excited by seeing. Because not only is it my team of Liverpool, but obviously, like I say, Ekitike, from the bits and pieces that I've seen of him firsthand, from the bits and pieces that I've researched about him, whether it's stuff that I've heard, stuff that I've read, stuff that I've seen, he is a player that promises a lot, got a lot of potential, promises a lot, and I'm very, like I say, very much intrigued by the prospect of him linking up with Wirtz, with Salah, with Gakpo, with McAllister, with Szoboszlai, and so on and so forth. I'm not too crazy about the price tag. Like I said, I'm not too crazy about the price tag, but I understand why we would have to pay that kind of fee. Like I say, it's not necessarily for the player he is today. It's more so maybe for the player that he will turn into in 3, 4, 5, or even the full 6 years of his contract down the line later on. But what I will say about rival fans in this situation, rival fans have got to really... I'm not saying that you have to pick a side on this, but there's been 2 very big responses from the vast majority of rival fans. There are those that are laughing at Liverpool. They are claiming that they overpaid, in that Ekitike is completely overrated. And that's fine, fair enough to have that opinion, assuming that you haven't obviously tried to big him up earlier on in the season where your club was probably linked with signing him and you were thinking, yeah, this is a very good prospect, until Liverpool got him, and then you've changed your tune, you've changed your mind. If you have that opinion, that is perfectly fine. If you've stuck to that opinion for a long time, then fine, fair enough. And then there is the other half of that kind of bracket, and they are saying that Liverpool are buying the league. Liverpool are splashing the cash this summer in a huge spending spree to buy the league. Which one is it? Either he's good, which is why we've splashed the cash on him, or he's completely overrated and we've overpaid. Either way, you've mocked us for years. You've mocked Liverpool for years because we've never splashed the cash on big players like this. And we've always missed out whenever we've been seemingly interested or in the race to sign big name players for big money. So all of a sudden, now that we are splashing the cash, now that we are going on a bit of a spending spree, now that we are in the race, not just in the race as contenders for signing these players, but actually winning that particular race for signing these players, now rival fans can't seem to handle it. I'm enjoying the salty tears of rival fans. It is amusing and it is awesome just to see. I know there will be certain fans out there that don't really care about the spending spree, or you know, they are saying good for Liverpool. They're finally doing the business and they're finally acting like a big club in these kinds of transfer windows. And fine, fair enough. But for most rival fans, it reeks of salt. It reeks of, you know, wanting to be liked and clicks and views and interactions of that nature on various social media sites and things like that. But for me, I'm amused by it all. I'm amused by both sets of reactions from rival fans, and I think it's absolutely brilliant that Liverpool are continuing to make rivals cry, panic, be scared, and lash out in this kind of manner. Look, we still obviously have to see if it all works out on the pitch, and obviously we have to see the proof in the pudding and all of that kind of stuff, but it does look intriguing, it does look interesting, and it does look like Liverpool are well on their way to potentially retaining their Premier League crown for the upcoming season. Look, guys, those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of this whole Liverpool and Hugo Ekitike situation? Do you think he will be a good fit for Liverpool? Do you think it's a good move for him? Do you think it's a good move for Liverpool? Or do you think the opposite? Do you think it's a bad move for Ekitike or a bad move for Liverpool? Have Liverpool overpaid? Is Ekitike overrated? Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling down below in the comments section. I'm sure what you have to say will make for great and interesting reading. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And of course, thank you everybody for watching and listening. Thank you all for your continued or brand new support to the channel, whichever one it is. It really does mean the world to me. So thank you. You guys are absolutely awesome, and it will always be appreciated and never taken for granted. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see you and speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.